Hello, hello, Marcella McBride here. I'm so excited to be joining an inspired conversation with Chelsea Dumas today, the gorgeous Chelsea, who's a priestess initiate on the Mystic Priestess path. And today we are going to be talking about and sharing a little bit about her experience at the Priestess Activation Retreat last summer, 2018, in the mountains of North Carolina. It was such an amazing weekend. And I specifically wanted to invite Chelsea on today because she and I met about a year and a half ago, and we started private work together. She jumped into the intro program of the Priestess Path, jumped into the summer retreat, and is now in the 9-month immersive initiatory process. So welcome, Chelsea.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, so excited to have you here.
Yes, me too.
She is a professional ballerina with the Charlotte Ballet, has been for years following her dream as a little girl, and has had this dream and inspiration in her heart for years also to create Hippie Ballerina, which is a company that is inspiring young girls through dance, in self-confidence, positive body image, following their dreams, intentional living, really inspiring stuff. And she's launched her company, and it's growing very quickly. And this mission and vision is pulling her forth. And she also creates these beautiful magical oil blends that are used. I use them for ceremony, could be used as you desire. So welcome, Chelsea. I would love to hear first, just in general, how was your experience at the summer retreat last summer in relation to connection with a group of women of like mind and heart? We were outside in the North Carolina mountains in the heat of the day, in the elements, getting in the water, dancing around the fire, singing and chanting, hooping and hollering as loud as we wanted to get. Just top of mind, just go ahead and share, how was that experience for you?
I would say that it was definitely a different experience than what I'm used to for sure. But it was a moment where I realized how much how I tend to isolate myself, and to be connected with such a beautiful, diverse group of women. I don't think honestly I've ever had that, because I've always been very much like around dancer friends or the people I work with. That's kind of just the people I stuck with and always hung out with. But to be around a group of women that are all wanting something more for their lives, and that are uncomfortable being out in the heat, that maybe like it's not their forte to be in nature for the whole entire day, but it was really just empowering for me to see. And I kept saying, I want more of this. I want more of this. Like, there's a connection that's not there in my life that I so desperately, I think it's just natural instinct, crave, but not necessarily wasn't sure how to get it. So
Mm-hmm.
just to be around that was incredible, and to meet these women, and I don't know, it was awesome to stand with them, to hear their stories and realize we've all been through the same stuff, and in a maybe different circumstances, but like core values kind of similar. um, it was very eye-opening.
Yeah, and it was amazing too for me to see such age diversity. So we had from 17 years old to, I think the oldest was late 50s.
Yeah.
So like we crossed multiple generations, and everyone spoke about how impactful the experience was for them. And in priestess times past, um, as tribe and community, we would be gathered together all generations. There wasn't the type of separation that we have now. In our culture, we're so used to the elderly going away to a home, and the young kids, being kind of isolated or taken care of with after school programs or whatever it might be, or babysitters. We've created this kind of construct, and it disconnects us. So this is an opportunity for multiple ages to come together and say, oh, wow, you're 21 and you have the same fear and doubt that this lady who's 52 has been dealing with her whole life, and you have strength in this that you can share with her, and she has strengths in this that she can share with you, and how we all balance each other, and the similarities of our path is really remarkable.
Yeah. And I've even taken from that retreat that how different age doesn't matter. And even for when I host my hippie ballerina workshops, I don't really do an age group. I kind of want to bring the older kids with like the 10-year-olds, you know, like I don't have as wide of a age range, but still like when you're a child, it's so like 11-year-olds together, 12-year-olds, but I don't think like, I think there's a lot to be learned from experience. And so it was just really amazing to see.
Yeah, and especially when you're handling those tender ages of 10 to 18, so to say, like all of that, the range of the teenage years when it can feel like there's these huge gaps in development, to get everybody together under one roof, like you're doing with your work too, is so incredibly valuable. And just to see that there's more similarity than difference. That's a huge piece for us cross-culturally and through the age and gender gaps too, which is really important. So you had shared one experience that some of my initiated women there with me for the weekend that you got to meet and be with, and they started the opening circle. And I was coming down the mountain and joining the opening circle about 10 minutes in, right? And you shared that there was an experience that you had when I arrived.
Probably my favorite moment of the whole entire weekend. There was a lot of cool moments, but it was almost out of a movie, like a mythical, magical movie. Like you don't expect these things to like happen, but then like they can be a reality if you make them. But so we're all sitting there in the circle, breathing, waiting for you to come in. And if the sun is beaming down on us, we're sweating, and Marcella comes up and she just joins. She doesn't say anything. She just joins hands with us. And I peek open my eyes, and she's standing there in this beautiful white tank top, flowy skirt without a bra on. And this is happening right now. And like at the core of my being, I was like, I want that. I want to be that confident, that comfortable in my own skin. And coming from a place like I've never been comfortable in my own skin. I've always felt like I didn't belong in this body. I've hated my body. That's what originally brought me to Marcella in the first place, because I looked at myself and hated myself, and I was like, this can't be right. This isn't what I'm here to do. So just to see that, and to see that it's possible, and to not care what others think in a way that holds you back, was just amazing to see. So now I don't wear bras anymore.
Yeah, and that is one thing that left quickly when I said yes to the Priestess path. My body literally started to reject them. Like I would put it on and feel like it was a girdle, or like I was putting on steel bars. It was that impactful. And what I've realized is that the more and more we tune into our bodies and tune into the earth and the natural connection we have with the earth, the less we're willing to compromise our own self-care and our own bodies for what others think. And that has been a years of journey for me, and I'm so glad that you received that gift over the weekend, because, and just for the listener, Chelsea and I were just chatting before I pushed record, and she was sharing that story, and I was sharing that it's been years of process for me to get to that level of comfortableness, that being a tall 5'11" blonde that developed early and is very curvaceous, I would get a lot of attention. No matter how baggy or toned down I would try to make my clothes, or lack of makeup or jewelry, all of that, like embellishment, took time for me to welcome in. That was the feminine really rising in me, fully accepting her within my own body, which is what I support women with now. And just want to bring home that it is a process. Yeah. That it's something that we're learning and we're healing and growing from, because our society is so wounded around the feminine and women's bodies and our own self-image and how much that affects us, that every single one of us that can stand in our power and show up in that way unapologetically gives others permission to do the same. And I was sharing with Chelsea just before, one of my points is that I was literally getting ready to come down the hill, and I'm getting this spirit guidance, as I always do, what jewelry to wear, what clothes to wear, like everything. I get guidance on how I'm supposed to show up, because it's different every time. Sometimes I'm in all black, sometimes it's all white, sometimes it's full on makeup and tons of jewelry, and sometimes it's none at all. There's always a reason. And Spirit was like, you're wearing a white bra, it's the only thing that's going to feel comfortable, and you're not wearing did I say white bra? A white tank top with no bra. And I'm not going to have you shave either. I'm like, oh my God, seriously? These women are coming from an urban environment. I know I'm from the mountains and I'm comfortable with that, but I got very clearly, that's how you need to show up. And now I know why. You're the first person to tell me that specifically was impactful for you.
Oh, extremely impactful. And every time I question if I'm going to wear a bra or not, I think of you and I say no. Standing so much in like your feminine goddess power, and it was just like radiating out from you. And I knew in that moment I could have that one day, and I was just like, there we go, this is I'm at the right place at the right time. Like, it just showed me what was possible.
Yeah.
If I didn't necessarily like believe I could, just see it was enough.
That's awesome. And do you feel that you've since taken that now, because that retreat was last July, we're coming into just a couple months out before it's a year, would you say that you've continued on in that mindset and noticing shifts in the way you're dressing yourself, the way you're like holding yourself and your self-care since that moment?
Yeah. I used to treat my body so horribly, and I really, it's a process. It's not, I have to look at myself every day being a professional ballerina in the mirror. So it's like years of negative self-talk that I've kind of have to like retrain my brain. But it's so much better. Like, and I feel larger than I used to, in a sense that like, I don't feel as small and helpless and victim. I feel more like standing in my own authentic self. And every day it gets better. Every day that I choose not to let those same tendencies that used to dictate my life, not dictate my life. Like, and I'm like, no, we're not going to think that today. We're going to love who you are. We're going to stand in your power. And we're going to be a shining example of what is possible. It feels amazing.
Yeah, that's awesome. I'm so glad.
Yeah.
And so you also had the opportunity to stay with some of the participants in one of the mountain houses there to rent for the weekend. Anything you want to share about that experience of being with them, throughout the weekend, staying together, chatting it up, connecting? Anything you'd like to share from that?
Just hearing their stories about their lives, like where they're at. It was really nice to hear just what they've been through, what they've overcome. Women are empowering. And as a child, I was always taught, I literally was taught women are evil. Like, that is kind of a background thing going on in my head. And so I always isolated. I kind of kept my distance, like that separation. But I knew it wasn't true. That was based in fear. And just to hear their stories and what they've been through and how amazing every individual is was really awesome. Because we all shared. We sat around outside. We we wanted to start a fire one night, but it ended up raining. And we went on the porch. We were all there drinking our tea and just sharing stories. Some were married 3 times. Some were only married once. Some were in relationships. Some had kids. We're talking about their kids. And it's just like, it was amazing to see like the possibilities of what life could be. Yeah.
That's so awesome.
And we all got dinner, and we all made dinner, and we each individually bought something, and we ate together, and it was really cool.
That's great.
And we never met each other before, so it was just like, hello.
Yeah. Hey, you're my friend for life. Hi, what's your name?
It's awesome. And a few of the girls that were there are in the 9-month program, and we're really close now. So that we're in the house.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, and it's similar for me. I grew up with 2 older brothers in the country, and pretty country lifestyle. There wasn't much pretty makeup and jewels. Like all the women I grew up around were, very physically active, like part of the farmers, and we built our own homes from materials from the land, and that type of kind of rough edge of the feminine, which is also very beautiful. But I didn't learn how to welcome in like physical beauty and long flowy clothes and beautiful like ceremonial items like I have now for my altar. And connection to women, I didn't really have that either. Even my closest female friends growing up, we're all kind of from the country. So the term tomboy, which I'm not a big fan of, but that's basically what we were, for lack of a better word. And so all of this was learned for me. I wasn't part of women's groups for a long, long time, until probably not until like late 20s or so. I really started to experience that for the first time. And so again, it all has to start somewhere, right? Do you need some water?
Hold on.
So yeah, being a part of women's groups was something that I was really uncomfortable with in the beginning. I was not comfortable sharing my feelings. I wasn't comfortable crying in front of people. Like I was like emotionally way shut down from so much pain growing up as a child. So just to share again, like we all start somewhere, and just following that divine spark to connect us. I think as women, we all want to connect more. It's part of our natural state. It's part of our DNA, is to want to be in circle. And that's why I feel so passionately about this priestess work within the 9-month temple space, and specifically too around this retreat experience, because something very powerful happens when we're together in person. And I knew that for a long time. And then when the priestess work showed up, I understood it to a whole other level, that we're actually activating each other. Like these priestess codes are in our DNA, they're in our bones, they're very real. And it's very magical when we get together and start to connect. They activate, we have past life memories, and visions will come through that sometimes we don't know what to do with, right? So that's another piece that I really want to bring home, is the power of being together in person in a circle.
And you can feel it, like you really can. And there's just, and I think I did feel it for the first time that summer. And I was, and it was a little uncomfortable, because I'm used to like isolating. That's what I do. But uncomfortable in a sense that, like, do I want to keep living in my fear, or do I want to see where this can go? And it was opening up that opportunity for me, and it was amazing. And when you sit and you share your story, it's so healing and therapeutic.
Mm-hmm.
Such supportive women is awesome.
Yeah, and to be able to know that we're not alone, that we all share the same stories of struggle and heartbreak and the feelings of defeat, and picking ourselves back up again and going back out into the world after heartbreak or deep loss or grief of some kind. We all have that, regardless of our age, regardless of our economic status, regardless of where in the world we've grown up. We all have it. And so, again, the more we can create connection instead of separation, and realize that we're not alone, that's really how we change the world. Because like you said, it's so easy to isolate, and the type of culture that we live in really puts too much pressure on us as individuals to like do and have everything on our own. Like the separation from community is really, really damaging. And this is a resurgence and a rebirthing of community, of women's circles, and really the big vision goal pulling forth in this priestess work, really awakening, is creating international networks. So we'll be connecting with women from around the world. You can say, there'll be like a dashboard where you can go and say, oh, who's in India? I'm going to be there speaking at a conference. I wonder what initiated women are there. Look them up, put out a message, go get to know your Indian sisters. I love that idea.
That's a great idea.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
So anything else you'd like to share that you don't think we've covered?
I walked away from it different. I really did. And there was like no doubt in my mind that I was supposed to be there and experience this work and continue with the work into the 9-month program. And I wouldn't change it for the world.
Yeah. Go ahead.
I say, like, I used to feel so small in my life, and like I didn't matter and worthless, and just like so not in control of anything. And nothing really has changed in my outside circumstances. Like I'm still in the same city, same job, same everything, but like everything on the inside has shifted. And that's, I think, where this priestess work comes in, like really strong. And And it's just cool to feel so empowered in the same body that I used to feel so small in.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
That's amazing.
like, am I the same? I'm not the same person, but I'm the same person, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
So I definitely walked away from the weekend different. It was just, I kind of felt like I was living out like a fairy tale from being a kid, like just in the woods, outside, swimming in sacred waters. Like, that stuff does exist. It's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Awesome. Well, thank you for being here with me today for this. I'm so excited for you to share and have women inspired to join us. So you ladies listening to this video, find Chelsea through hippieballerina.com, right?
Yes, hippieballerina.com. And on Instagram, the Hippie Ballerina.
Awesome.
I'm an Instagram person.
Yeah, she's a big Instagrammer.
Yeah.
So yeah, find her there and come join us for this year's summer Priestess Activation Retreat for 2019. It's going to be late August in the mountains of North Carolina outside of Asheville at a gorgeous retreat center. We have limited spots for the number of women that can actually stay on site. So I'm going to be launching here in the next couple of weeks. Early bird seats, doors are open for those limited spots to stay with us on site, because the overflow will be staying at hotels close by. So huge opportunity to be able to come be with us in person, to experience this priestess activation work, to come meet other women that have been initiated onto this path, ones over from the years that's now integrated in really powerful new ways, others that are freshly initiated. It's going to be an incredible opportunity. A big group of women are going to be coming together. So get more details, marcellamcbride.com. I'm going to have some juicy bonuses for you to jump in soon to go ahead and make that choice, because what we know is when you say yes, providence aligns to support your sacred yes, and magic starts to unfold right away. So marcellamcbride.com, hippieballerina.com. Check us out. Thank you, Chelsea, and we'll see you very soon. Much love, everyone. Ta-ta for now.